Hello and welcome, y'all. It is another day of filming. I think it's been just a little over 2 weeks this time. Several things have been going on, so that kind of prevented me from getting everything done the way quite as quickly or as on time as I'd wanted to. Anyway, moving on. I hope you have had a very, very nice Christmas and that you got everything that you would like, that your little heart desires. I did get a gift from a hubby. I don't usually ask for gifts. We don't always buy each other gifts. It kind of just depends on whether we've told somebody that we wanted something specific. Because our tastes and our needs are so specific, I personally would rather either buy my own gift or give a specific picture of something that I want, so I know I'm going to get what I need. My husband is very into electronics. He's an IT person. It's way over my head as to know what kind of stuff he has and what he needs and wants. So most of the time we just buy our own gifts. But I did tell him one thing that was pretty simple and easy, and I did send a picture to him, said I want this exact thing. So there is no confusion. And I got it. It was a cutting mat that I needed for my sewing room, the really, really big one, that sits on the table. My previous one was 20 to 25 years old. I hadn't used it consistently, constant for all those years. It kind of came in spurts, but it was very much needed to be replaced. So I'm very happy that I got this one. I haven't used it yet, haven't had a chance, but yeah, I'm very happy that I got that. So along with Christmassy niceness, I had mentioned in the last video that I got a lovely card from Patchy Pony Stitcher in Tasmania. I also got another couple of nice stitchy kindness Christmas cards. Amy loves toads. She's my gal. I like her. She's wonderful. Sweet lady. And then, so grateful, sent me. She's so funny. She contacted me, and I'm not sure how she knew my email address, but I thought it was great that she figured it out or asked somebody or did something to find out, and said, "Would you send me your address? I want to send you a card." Which is so sweet of her. She's such a sweet woman. So yes, thank you very much, Deline and Amy. Sweet ladies. And let me think. Okay, so some of the things that have been going on that have kind of either prevented me from getting things done or just kind of dragged things down a little bit is if you watched any of my Instagram stuff, if you follow any of that, you kind of know some of the things that are going on. A week and a half ago, I went down to visit my mother, and while we were at my sister's house, which I'd never been to, these are new places. My mother just moved down there at the end of October, and my sister's been living there for about a year or so, but I've never visited her there, and so it wasn't familiar with kind of the sidewalks and everything there. So and I didn't notice this when I got into the house as I was going in, that at the bottom of her steps from her porch to the little sidewalk out to the road, there is, it must have broken up or something, because I could see afterwards that she had put kind of like a doormat type of thing over it, probably to keep it from being too muddy or just look a little better. But there is a gap, probably 6 to 9 inch gap where the cement wasn't there anymore. So it had a jagged edge. I mean, it wasn't smooth where the cement ended and the steps began. So when I stepped down, I did not realize, and it was dark, so I didn't see it. I didn't realize it was like that, and I rolled my ankle quite badly. And my mother was just horrified. She thought, and I fell down. It wasn't just that I kind of rolled it and just kind of kept my balance. I mean, I went down. I didn't even know it had happened until afterwards, after I realized now my hands are on the ground. um, so my mother was so worried that I had broke it because recently she had fallen, and when she went to catch herself, she put her hands out and she ended up breaking the bones across her hand. So she was so worried that I had broke my ankle, and I had to drive 2.5 hours to get to where my husband was so we could fly home the next day. Which that was not a pleasant experience, I'm telling you, when your ankle, and I found out later because she was so worried, so worried. She kept bugging me. You really should go get it checked. You should go get it checked. So just to make her feel happy, because I didn't think that it was broke. I knew it was injured and it was going to take some time to heal, but just to make her feel better, I went and had it x-rayed, and it didn't look like it was broke. But it was turning a lovely shade of black and blue. So it wasn't broke, but it was very painful and very sore. And so driving for 2.5 hours was not fun. And I was very grateful for cruise control because I used it every single time I could. And the flight was not fun either because the cabin pressure, and everything as you're flying, man, it did not like that at all. So that was the first thing. Then probably around Sunday or Monday, I started getting a cold. And it is dragged out. I'm still dealing with it today. Today I'm filming, it's Friday, the 27th. So I'm still dealing with it a little bit. And then I woke up this morning and took a shower and I realized I'm getting a cold sore. I'm so thankful for Abreva, I'm telling you right now, because that really, it works. It really does work if you catch it right away. And as soon as I got out of the shower, I mean, you couldn't even see it, but you could feel it. It's that you feel when you wipe across your lip or something. It's like, oh, something's going on. And I put it on right away. So that hopefully will just, within a day or so, it's probably going to be gone. I'm hoping. It usually is like that. If I don't put it on there, it's like a week or two before they're gone. And so this will hopefully catch it. So it's kind of been miserable around here. I've had to sit around a lot with my foot up, not really using it very much. And then just feeling crappy because of the cold. So I managed to get through Christmas. And we ate lunch and we opened a few presents from my mother-in-law. And then I went and took a nap, people, because I had run out of energy, run out of steam. So I'm on the mend, I think. I'm feeling better today than I have for a long time with the cold. So hopefully it's all going away. I hope so. So while I was visiting my mother, she lives now in this really small town that is, like I said, it's about 2.5 hours south of Dallas. And when I went down there, I had to drop my husband off at one town. It was for work. So we got a car and I dropped him off and then I drove the rest of the way to my mother's. And the directions told me to go through Waco, which, oh, cool. I get to see Waco a little bit. I've never been to Texas at all. This is the first time. Waco has a whole bunch of road work along and over I-35. The directions told me to go through Waco. The directions, the GPS, was also kept telling me to turn onto roads or overpasses that weren't able to be turned on anymore because they had them closed for their work. And it wasn't correcting itself. So I took a lovely tour through Waco because I kept driving around and driving around. I was looking at my GPS and trying to expand it and see where could I find another street that would take me over to where I needed to go. And oh my gosh, I think for about a half an hour, I weaved back and forth through Waco. I finally found the road I needed to be on and got down there. That was not fun because it was late. it was, I mean, I think I didn't get to my mother's house till like 10 o'clock that night. And we'd been flying all day and driving a bunch. And it's like, I'm just so done with this. So the next day, we're like, well, what should we do together? Because we only had the one day. I had to actually go back that night. And, well, there's nothing to do in her little town. There's another town about a half an hour, but it's kind of small. I mean, it's bigger. It's College Station, so it's bigger, but I don't know if there's just not that much to do there. So she suggested that we go to Waco. Thankfully it's in daylight, so you can see the construction, and maybe we'll avoid most of it. Okay. And she'd been there before, so she knew some of the places and kind of where to go. But she did not, the last time she'd been through Waco was a month ago, and it had not been like that. So this was new for her too, because they kept detouring you in different places. So we did have to do detouring quite a bit. But we made it. We got into the downtown Waco area. There's a couple places that she knew of that we went to. She loves antiques and, reclaimed furniture and doing all that kind of stuff. And she's very good at interior decorating. So she knows some of these kind of cool places to go to. So we went to a couple of those places, and they happened to be, and I'm sure it was somewhat on purpose, next to the Silos in Magnolia. For if you ever watched Fixer Upper for the Gaineses, it's their new business they have in Waco. So we were able to go over there as well. So a couple of things that I got while we were at the Silos. I didn't get really that much. I didn't want to spend a ton of money, and not a ton of, I mean, there were things that were calling to me, but I knew I just didn't need them. So I didn't get them. I did get a little magnet. It's a little wooden one, little round one. I always get something simple and easy that I can kind of have as a memorabilia of places I've gone. So I got that. But one of the things I did get was this adorable little teapot. It's a metal one. It's an ornament. Just this cute little thing. And if you notice, it does say Magnolia down there. It's got their established date on it. It's not this year's date. So that's really cute. So that's the only thing I got at their place. But at the other store that I mentioned, there's two of them actually that we went to that had this reclaimed furniture. They were awesome. They were so cool. And I'm sure you've seen these things where these are like little bejeweled fake fruit things. They're cute. They had a section in the back, like clearance, a bag full of them for $4, people. Not only is that a good deal, but at that store, things were not cheap, and it was a really good deal. So that I was very happy to find that little gem. Alrighty. So those are really the only things that I got while I was there. But it was a nice little visit. We did go to Magnolia Table, which is the restaurant that Chip and Joanna have opened. We were very lucky to get in, it sounds like, because it's usually really, really, really busy. I think from what we understand, it was a good time of year. So between the time we went, which was, middle of December, so people might still be doing a little Christmas shopping, but they weren't doing that much because it wasn't really, really busy at their store either, at the Silos. Not like if you've ever watched the TV show, how you've seen the lines. And my mom had been there when there were lines just winding through the store and outside. So it can get that way, especially in the summer. So it wasn't that bad. So including at their restaurant at Magnolia Table, because it's kind of more of an off season, we were able to get in. We only had to wait about 10 or 15 minutes. So it wasn't that bad. And it was lovely. It was very nice. The food was very good, very filling. It's different. You do have kind of the same types of food, but they make it just a little bit different. So it was very good. Very good. I don't know that I would ever plan a trip to Waco just to see that property, because it wasn't enough to see this, mainly for the Silos, you had the store, you had the little bakery next door, That was it. They do have a coffee shop down, like a block down the street, and then the Magnolia table is actually about 5 to 10 minute drive from there. I happen to be visiting my mom, so we happened to be there, and it worked out just fine. But I don't know if I'd plan it just because I wanted to see that. Let's see. What else? Oh, I did get one other thing. I don't have it because I sent it to a stitchy friend, and she was so appreciative because apparently they'd had some unexpected bad news happen, and it was kind of warmed her heart and made her feel a little better that day. And so that warmed my heart as well, because I didn't know nobody knows that the stuff is going to happen, that bad stuff is going to happen. But it just kind of shows you, if you're a believer that God is in what you're doing. I had no idea. In fact, I kind of questioned, should I send this? Should I not? But I went ahead and did it because I bought it. As soon as I saw it, I thought of her, and the Lord was in it, because she must have needed some, encouragement that day. So that was the other thing I forgot about. Really haven't purchased a lot besides the floss for my new starts that is going to happen in a few days. So I won't show you all of that, but I did, when I was at the last Pacific Northwest Stitchers meetup, I did talk to Beth Twist about her ornament ball patterns. And I'm like, so I know you talked in a video that you had to get your ornament balls or your T-balls from a restaurant supplier because she would order, hundreds of these things. It's like, well, I can't do that because I'm not going to order hundreds. And so I was asking her where she thought I could get some, and not pay an arm and a leg for them. So she told me, looking on Amazon, and she was showing me some sites. So I went and I finally ordered them. I didn't do it right away because it's just been kind of crazy with several things that are going on. So I ordered them, and it comes as a 3-pack with 3 different sizes, and it comes in a bag, and they're all like this. So they're kind of all nestled inside of each other. They just kind of nest. That's how they ship them, like that. So now I can do those little ornaments. I can't wait. I've been dying to get to those. And of course, I don't think that was one of the new stitchy things in January, so I'll just squeeze it in somewhere, and it'll be something that I do not in January because I've got too many of those new starts, but it'll be one of the other months that I get started on things. So that really besides my fun little Waco purchases, that was really the only thing I think that I have to show you that I got. Let's do a few whips. Of course, I'm not doing a ton. Because of some of the things that I have been doing, I needed a very small project to kind of take with me to places. And you all know that you have different things that you need to take on, whether it's a trip or to work or whatever. So I grabbed these little guys. And I'll show you if there's a nice close-up picture back here. Okay. These little sleds are so adorable. They're little wood and metal ornaments that you just glue on the stitchy part. So you do it on perforated paper, and then you cut it out and you glue it onto these. Obviously, you could do it on fabric if you wanted to. You don't have to. I mean, it wouldn't. I'm assuming you could glue fabric on here, but I usually just do it on perforated paper. And I am doing this for something that I'm thinking of for next year. So that's why I have so many of them. I also, as I was doing this, I was like, I knew I was going to make multiples of the same pattern. So once I did one set, I'm like, I'm going to change a couple of things. So in this video, it shows up okay. I mean, you can kind of see that there's trees with the blue background. It's not really, really noticeable. But then I changed some stuff. So here's the two that are the same. I changed to a darker blue and to a little bit brighter green so that you could see them better. I also, the fence, I think I'm going to stay with this one. I'm not entirely sure yet, instead of this color. This is a little bit darker. I just don't know yet. I like the subtleness of this, but as I mentioned, sometimes the subtleness gets lost and you don't see it, and I want to see it enough. So I don't know yet. I mean, when I look at this with my eye, I can barely see this fence, so I may have to stay with this one. So there you go. That's what I've been working on for that. And then the other item that I have been working on, as we all know, is my Hade, the little treasure hunt bookshelf. And I'll insert a video in a minute here. I think I was over here the last time, so I'll insert a video now. So as you can see where I was, I'll show you the picture again, and I've worked more here. So I've gotten the dragon. I don't know if you can tell if you'll be able to see his head or not. Yeah, you might be able to. This umbrella. The mask is pretty well showing up. So let me get that out and you can see it. So we got our dragon, that umbrella for the most part, unless it's a hat. Maybe that's a hat. It's hard to tell in this. And then the mask. And then the next things that will show up, kind of give you a view. You kind of saw it in the video, but of the before, but there's all that. The next thing that's going to show up at the end, and hopefully I'll finish that before my new starts, but I'm not entirely sure. There is, it's almost like one of those paper umbrellas. It's sitting upside down, and there's a violin, some flowers. So that's what is going to come up next. It's right in here. So you'll see those things the next time when I show this. Obviously I'll have a few days right now to work on it until the end of the year. Then once January hits, I don't know how much I will work on this. So I may show it in the next video because I will have worked on it for the next couple of days, but I don't know past that. It may be a month or so before I end up showing it again because there's just going to be too much other work getting done, as y'all have heard. I did finish, I had been working on the ornament trio. We talked about, I've shown that as I've been going along. And I'll show you the picture. And if you, like I said before, if you have followed Instagram, I did post a picture of this. I have a really, really, really big foam core board, so we'll work around that. And there it is. So it's very pretty. I love it. Those are my colors. There is in the actually, it might not be on there anymore because I think I might have done it as a story, and I know those go away after a while. I showed kind of close-ups of this. So there's a lot of Krynic. Well, not a ton of Krynic, but there's enough Krynic in there. And as I had mentioned in the Instagram, one thing I wasn't sure how, first of all, I didn't even know that I was going to have to do this. But once I realized it, I'm like, I don't know how this is going to turn out. But in here, these little dots, these silver dots, are Krynic French knots. And there's 3 of them down at the bottom, down here too. And if you know, just working with Krynic, how stiff and unfriendly it can be to work with, that I did not know if this was going to work out. But they did. They turned out quite nice. So, yay. Beautiful, beautiful. I love the scroll work too. I do not mind doing back stitching at all. So it didn't bother me to do it. But yay, yay, yay. It's done. It's pretty. I had hoped to kind of make a temporary display of it to have it up for Christmas because I got it done like 2 days before Christmas or something like that. But because of how lousy I was feeling, I didn't care. And you all know that when you get sick, there's just certain things that go by the wayside and you don't care. You don't care. You just want the day to go by and get done with and not have to deal with anything anymore. As I mentioned, I really needed a nap that day. So anyway, it didn't get put out as a little display. As you can see, it's not FFO'd yet. Alrighty, moving on. I know that a lot of people have been doing whip parades, kind of year in review, different things like that. I'm not going to do a whip parade because you just saw my whips. So I kind of did it. What I thought would be kind of cool, and I don't know if other people have done this because I don't watch everybody, but you watch what you can, is I thought I would talk about what has been done, what has been finished, whether it's FFO'd or not. That way you can kind of see, that wraps up the year and see how much I've gotten done. So I showed last time my simple little notebook of how I keep track of what I've worked on for each day and then every month for the year. And I went back and counted. I have a total of 27 finishes. And that doesn't even include things that I did twice. So Mr. and Mrs. Delicious, I did twice. I did do 2 of the Why Yes I Can Drive a Stick, a little witchy one. And I only counted that as 1. So I didn't count it as twice. But I kind of broke it down as well, is I did 10 what I would call minis. So something like an ornament, something kind of small. Then I did 12 smalls, and small meaning, something around a 5x5 to maybe, or a 4x4 to a 5x7, something not terribly big. And then I did 5 large ones, which is anything bigger than that. So probably close to an 8x10 or larger. So I was a busy girl, and that wasn't even everything that I had done for, I was making bags and whatever else. So I was busy doing other things as well. Very, very busy. So what I'm going to do is show you some of those things again. So some of them I've showed on various videos that I've done here. Some of them I would have probably shown when I was doing the video with Steph, the Pixie Dust Stitchers. So if you were watching that, you would have seen them. If you didn't watch those will be new to you. So let's get into it. And I don't have all of them. Don't freak out that I'm going to show you 27 things, because some of them are holiday related and they've already been packed up and put away. And I'm not going to try and dig them out. A few of them are FFO'd, but not. There's quite a few that aren't. Yeah. So one of them that I did was the Mill Hill. One of the Mill Hill kits. Enchanted Pumpkin. Adorable. So here it is. Very nice. And in case you're wondering, yes, all of this orange is stitched. It's not just the black. Now, if you got a piece of material, a fabric, that was potentially the color you wanted, all you would have to do is stitch the black. And I don't know how much you can tell, but there's a lot of beads in there. There's a lot of beads all over the place. So you could just do complete stitching with black and no beads, or you could do kind of combo like they do with these. All right, so there's one, couple more Mill Hills, but they do it on fabric. So they have a few patterns that they do. The kit actually comes with fabric instead of perforated paper, which is what the pumpkin one was. So we have this lovely, my bluebird, and the yellowbird. So those are Mill Hills. They also have the beads, and you saw those. Some other fun ones was the floral funds. I have 3 of them. So this is number 3. Here it is. Then we have number 2. Let's see if we can get this without glares. And that would be this. This fabric is not the called for fabric because Picture This Plus was, these are old patterns, and Picture This Plus did not make that particular color for this one anymore. So we had to do the best that we could. I talked with Acorns and Threads, and I'm like, so where can I get something else? And they ordered that. So it's a little more orange than what shows on the pattern. And then there's this one. And there's that. So fun little things to get done. Just, you know, it's nice to be able to have those small little projects to do. Then I did this one. So we have the Cricut collection, Sleepy Hollow. You could, you know, they tell you could do it in the 3 panels, or you can do it as 1 panel, or kind of whatever you wanted. And I did those, did the house and the riders, a couple of trees there. I put the moon over on this side. And of course, I changed the hill. I didn't want a hill. I didn't really care for it as much. So I charted it to be a bridge. I recharted it. So let me see if I can get this on here, because everything's kind of washing out behind it if I don't. And it's a big one. There you go. It's awesome. Love it. So there's the Sleepy Hollow. I don't think I did it on the call for fabric either. I think I had to just get something close to it because they didn't have it. I think that might have been the problem. As I mentioned, I have a very big piece of foam core. The other big one that I have done was this one. And this one is, trying to remember if it has the name on the front. I've not seen it. I think it was, I've listed it as Birds in Paradise, but I'm not seeing that on here. Maybe it says it inside on the charts. I know when I know what I'm looking for, and when I'm trying to Google this and look it up, it's kind of hard to find. So if you're wanting to, it's that Russian company. Even putting this in there is sometimes hard. So if you wanted more information, I can try to get you, I could send a picture or something, and then you could look it up with all of the information from the front, or wherever else I can find information inside there. The one thing that I did different is that these little guys right here are actually ribbon that they have done French knots with. I didn't really want to do that. I didn't really want to mess with it. And there were going to be so many of them. There's a lot that I decided to change them into red beads instead. So I changed it to red beads, and it was a little easier to finish that way, as well as I'm not messing with it and making it look bad. So here's the whole thing. And as I mentioned, there are beads there, there's beads there, there's beads over there, there's beads up here. There was going to be quite a few of those French knots. And I know the sun is kind of washing this out a little bit, but kind of can't help it. It's beautiful. I love this piece. I think it's just gorgeous. I didn't have too much of a problem stitching on the black. So I know some people are horrified to have to do that, but it wasn't too bad for me. Something else that I've recently finished, and y'all seen, but I'll show you anyway, is the Esther's Waves. And as you remember, I changed the colors. So it's a greens and blues combination. It does call for delicate beads, and I highly recommend that you use delicate beads, because if you don't, they're going to be too big. Even if you get the little seed beads from Michael's or wherever, they will still be too big. So delicate beads aren't too bad. They aren't too expensive. So here you go. One more look at this. I still have not found a frame. The one I had picked out and showed nobody really thought it was a good fit for it, so I'm still looking. And every single row, if you remember, has a specialty stitch to it. I think I have it upside down, but you know what? It doesn't matter. You can do it either way. So there's all of that. And a couple other things that I have done. Another is kind of a small one. Fun. Under the Stars, little camping one, and I did FFO this one to death. So I put all the goodies all over it. Frog. I love that frog. He's supposed to be one of those that hangs off of a pot because he kind of clings. He's got enough room to cling there. But I put him on here. And the 2 times we've gone camping this last summer, I took this with me and I set it out on my table for display to look at, because that's why I made it. I like looking at it here in the house, but I love taking it with me so that I have it to look at, because that's what it was meant for. So there's that one. Another one that I finished, and this is a pattern that I had gotten from a Just Cross Stitch magazine. It was an old one. The store was clearancing it out, and I found several patterns in there I really liked, and I actually did this one. He's upside sideways. Is my flamingo. It all called for DMC. There wasn't any specialty floss, but there were a lot of blends. Lots of blends. And he is awesome, man. Love me some flamingo. And then I finished it into a project bag. Lovely. Love it, love it. And then the last one that I'm going to show you is Bunnies on the Beach. And I did it like this. So I used slightly different fabric. I changed the lettering down here because in the picture it shows it being stitched as white. And with the spots, the dots, I did not want them to blend in too badly with those. So I took one of the bunny colors and stitched it down there because you know what, they're standing on sand anyway. So let's just make it sand colored words. And then I FFO'd it. This is just one of those kind of like placemat things that I attached. I put this on foam core, put some cording around it, put all the fun beachy look to it. Cool stuff, man. So those are the ones that I'm going to show you that I have finished. And hopefully this year I will FFO them. If you watched my last video, you saw my organizer, my planner that I'm going to use not only to keep track of what I do every day, which projects I stitch on, but I had several different dividers for whips, FFO'd or to be FFO'd, and Flosstube, all that kind of stuff. So now I can write down these things instead of having them sitting in a box and being forgotten. So some of this stuff, I actually have the frame or whatever I'm going to use to FFO them. I just haven't taken the time or remembered that they need to be done. So now I can. Next up, I want to show you, I've kind of talked about this, but I kind of want to show you a little bit more on video, the bags that I have made. So I'm going to grab those real quick. Okay, so I wanted to show you them because sometimes a picture isn't real good, and I know with this glare, hopefully it won't just make them look bad either. But I'm trying to let y'all know about the bags. I do grime guards as well as some needle minders. And I will talk about where you can find those in a minute, but I wanted to show you some of them on the video because maybe that's a little bit better look than seeing them in a picture. So I've just grabbed, I probably have about 5 or so here, 5 or 6 that I'm going to show you, and they come in different sizes. So when you go to the site, make sure you look and see what's available, because it does range as to what I have. Maybe I have sold a couple of them, and so I don't have every single size the same exact ones. So this is a fun one. It is, not sure where that glare is coming from. It's obviously lattes, frappes. It's got a cute little cup. Lovely back. I love that stuff. It does have that vinyl front to it, and you can see I've got a big one too. This is the 14 by 14. This is like a 7 by 9, I believe. So there's one to look at. This is kind of fun because spring is coming up. It'll be here before we know it. So we've got the nice flowers. And because we're in Oregon and it rains, I found this great fabric. And it goes very nicely with this. It's got a flower zipper pull. All of my zippers have some kind of zipper pull on them. If these little small ones, it's probably just one little piece. The bigger ones will have longer ones. And I'll show you that here as a comparison. I didn't do that on the frappe one. So this is a 12 by 12, and I did include some beads that hang from it as well. So cool stuff. Kind of fun for those who like to travel. Route 66. It's got a sign included. And then all of those old bugs. This is right up Amy Loves Toad's alley. Telling me. And then for the bigger one, this is the 12 by 12 again. I included a few beads at the top with it. So those. And I have, who doesn't love Mickey? Got the Mickey Mouse. I just did something simple because, I mean, it's all right here. And Mickey head's in the back. Yeah. Another fun one is this. Very colorful, very bright colors. This is that lovely, that is showing through very nicely in color. I did something a little different with this. I did chains and then I hung these swirlies off of it, kind of match the color and the patterns. And then of course I have a bigger one as well for this. Here's that. And then if you like buttermilk basin, I do have some fabric. I know that fall is over with, but in case you wanted to get one, then you could. So we've got very fallish. Got scarecrows, owls, sunflowers, etc. Lovely, nice fabric at the top, and then that. And I have, let me get him so he's sit still. A scarecrow, some beads. Not focusing real well, but you get the idea. And bigger one as well. So those are a few. There's more than that I have on the website, or not website, the site that I have. So go look those up and take a gander at what I got. Also, as I mentioned, I have some grime guards. I know not everybody uses these, but if you do and you're interested in finding some, I'll show you a couple of the patterns. This is just a lovely soft green with some flowers in it. I also have something a little more fun, sparkly looking. It doesn't have sparkles on it. It just kind of gives you that idea. Pink. And this is a little bit more of the Christmassy, though I'm sure if you like red, you could have it for anything else. I do have, and I didn't bring it with me, I believe there's a bag that uses this fabric. So if you want something to match, you can get both. These right here are 8x8 if you put them in a Q-snap, 8x8 size. I do have 10x10 size. Keep in mind, if you don't use Q-snap and use a hoop, it will still work on a hoop. You just kind of have to calculate what the circumference is around and figure out what that would be for something that's square. Okay, so it works. It works. If you ever have a desire to have something custom made, whether you want something bigger, if I happen to still have that fabric, or I can still get it, or if you have fabric you want to send to me to have something made, contact me. I can do that. It's not a problem. Not a problem at all. The other thing that I make, that I have several of, are needle minders. I was just at a bazaar, so got price tags on a lot of these. Some of them are just more like a plastic material. Some of them are more, look like a metal material. So yeah, I've got cupcakes and donuts and flamingos and super girls and weirdo girls and skulls, the sugar skulls. These ones, I think I need to still put these on there, but you could contact me if you wanted them. I got a Viking ship, kind of like a snowflake, and then swirlies. Then I have these resin ones, and they've got glitter and whatnot in them. So I've got some leaves, I've got some butterflies, and then I've got these, they're shaped like a shell, and they actually have a blue tint to the resin, and there's sand and itty bitty shells inside there. So I also make those, and I sell those, and most of those, like I said, I think all of them are on the site, except for the little round metal ones. I think I missed those somehow. So yeah, if you're interested in getting all of that, I used to do it on Etsy. I wasn't really getting a whole lot of business from that. I don't know if people just didn't know I was there or what. And it costs money every single time you post it, and it's good for like 4 months, and then you have to repost it, and it costs money again. And plus they take a fee every time you sell stuff. So it's kind of like, I think I'm going to just put it on an Instagram. I have an Instagram page. I actually have two. I have the Winnie and Neverland one that just does, generic postings and things. But then I have one called Bags by Wendy. I think I mentioned this in the last video. In between the words is underscore. So bags underscore by underscore Wendy. And my name is spelled with an I at the end. If you bought my bags, you've probably seen that, or I don't know, maybe you didn't notice. So you can look that up under Instagram, and it's not going to have a new posting under the feeds all the time, but you can go into where all my pictures are and see all of them, and then just contact me, and I will put I'll also put my email address on this post so that you could see that. I'm not sure if it's in with the Bags by Wendy site or not. I think I need to check that. I am not a techie person, so I'm sometimes figuring this out as I go. So anyway, I thought I would show you on a video instead of just having to try and see this as pictures. I think the only other thing that I need to do is talk about my giveaways. As you watched the last video, I had 3 giveaways. I have 2 of them to show you. The other ones I already boxed up, and I'm getting them ready to ship. So sorry about that. So one of them was the Charlie Brown Christmas music I had mentioned I had an extra CD. So that one goes to Doreen Deskins. Congratulations, Doreen. So you'll need to send me, like I mentioned, I will put my email address down in the comments. You'll need to send me your address, your mailing address, so that I can get this to you. The other thing, and I don't have it with me, is those 10 ornaments. So if you're not sure what I'm talking about, go back and look in the last video, because that's the ones I boxed up. And I can't find the ones that I bought for myself. I would show you those. But they were cute. There was a like a round ornament shape. There was a tree shape. There was a house shape. And they just had a little bit of depth in them so that you could probably like stitch something and put it in there. Very cool. And that goes to Jennifer. I don't have a last name or anything. It was just Jennifer. So if that's you, please contact me and I will get those to you. The last thing is I had one of my little bags, and I had said that I had given these out at the Pacific Northwest Stitchers meetup, and then I was going to do one here. And so, yay, here it is. And that one is going to go to Verby. I love Verbies. She comments all the time, and she's such a sweet girl. So yes, she will get this. I have your address, so I will get that shipped off to you, unless it's changed. If you feel like you're not sure, I mean, if you haven't moved in the last year, then you're safe with the address that I have. But I should be able to get that to you pretty quick here. So anyway, congratulations to all those who won one of those. And I think we're going to wrap it up because this is kind of a long video, but you know, you're kind of wrapping things up for the whole year and it ends up dragging on a little bit longer than I think you planned to. So with that, I hope you all have a wonderful new year, that you, if you made any New Year's resolutions, that you stick to them. I don't make New Year's resolutions anymore. Just one more thing hanging over your head. Anyway, I hope that everything is wonderful and grand for you in the new year, and you have a great year, great coming year, and that you're looking forward to it. Anyway, with that, we'll say goodbye, and we'll see you next time.